What's going on, guys? Zedd here, bringing you another Marvel Midnight Suns video. This one's just going to basically be a summary of the dev stream that they did, which you have playing on the screen right now, and sort of touch a little bit more on combat items. It's something that doesn't really get touched on much, and I was able to ask a question about them in the stream, and it was the first question that they answered as well. So I'll kind of go a little bit into that a bit later into the video, but I'm just going to give you quick bullet points about the stream in case you didn't catch it or you just kind of want Cole's notes. So, um, number one, squad sizes are not always three. They are sometimes smaller than that, and they can be made larger with summons as well. So someone had asked, can you grow your base squad size? The answer is no. Three is the base default there. Difficulties are unlocked as you play, so as you go along, you unlock higher difficulties, and the better you do and the more 3-star missions you get, the game will prompt you to or ask if you want to upgrade your difficulty. So that's kind of cool. So your first playthrough will start easy and get harder no matter what, no matter who you are. Hopefully, I can unlock the hardest difficulty as soon as possible. Excuse me. There is no Iron Man mode, so for the literally. So for those who maybe are familiar with XCOM, Iron Man mode is there's no save reloads. Like every decision you make, it's automatically saved. And in XCOM, characters would die. Midnight Suns, if you didn't know already, characters can't die; they just sustain injuries. So there is no Iron Man mode in the sense of all your decisions are locked in for you. That said, though, the characters can sustain injuries during combat. So, say, right on the screen, Doctor Strange got stunned there. Say he or gets an injury, you are able to take him on another mission. However, he'll get debuffs or negative things or things he can't do. For example, unable to knock back targets, takes more damage, or sometimes you can draw a useless or bad cards in your hand. Things like that. So you're de-incentivized to bring units with injuries, but you are not unable to. Also, lower difficulty settings will just remove the injuries altogether. So if you just always want to go through the game with your core team of three, plus the hunter, you're more than welcome to do so. You can adjust the game to satisfy your needs that way, if you so choose. That said, you can build sort of like an infirmary option where injuries will be fixed faster or at all. Um, so yeah, there are ways around it, but that's instead of dying, there are injuries, and the more damage you take and the more things that happen to the character, the more injuries they potentially sustain. Um, Anyone can shove an enemy, so this is something that um, I guess is interesting because it makes what I've dubbed now death pits, um, the drops, right? The percentage chance insta kill. It makes those a lot more useful than I had maybe previously thought because you can build an infrastructure at the Abbey to allow all your team members to shove, literally. So if you're a unit like, say, Blade, who doesn't really have CC, you can give him the shove ability, or shove card, I guess. I don't know. And all of a sudden he can use the death pits, right? So that's kind of cool. I like that. It allows more options for Magic and Ghost Rider specifically because they're the units who make the death pits. Yeah, so that's something if you were worried about that, that's cool. It doesn't really change my thoughts on the character's power level. I still think Magic is insane. I still think Ghost Rider is going to be a little underwhelming. Um, and if you haven't seen my tier list video, I'll link it down below. You should definitely check it out. Yeah, so next up, achievements are not locked behind difficulties, so this is something that you see in a lot of games where it's like complete the game on legendary, complete the game on hard. Um, that's not a thing. So if you're an achievement kind of player, I mean, it is a single player game after all, but if you're an achievement hunter or you like to just complete the game 100%, you're more than welcome to do that, even if you're not, super, if you're not into the harder difficulties, if you're not really um, able to win on the higher ones, you're more than welcome to just drop the difficulty, have fun with the game, play your team, and get all the achievements. So that's pretty cool for sort of casual playthroughs. Someone had asked how many hours it takes to beat the main story. This isn't new news, but you're looking at about 45 to 60 hours for your first playthrough. If you beeline it, probably like 40, 45. And if you do the side content and you kind of get a pretty decent run, you're looking at about 55, 60. I I don't think it would be unreasonable to say that it might take most players 70 hours. But if your intention, right, I don't know, but if you go through the game once and it's sort of like permanent unlocks, um, I'm not really fussy about getting all those in the first playthrough, as I intend to play through many, many, many times. But if you're someone who's like you kind of just want to one and done the game, you're only really interested in 3 or 4 heroes, um, yeah, there you go. Yeah, my question. Good transition. So at this point in the VOD, I had asked about combat items. Now we're familiar with some of the effects, if not all of them. There you go. So on screen, you're seeing kind of the interface for that. You can take up to three, maybe more, I don't know, but three into a run. And these are the consumables of the game. These are things that it seems as though any effect in the game can be made or crafted on a combat item, frankly. So, vulnerable, marked, weaken, strengthen, add an additional move, draw an additional card, redraw a card. They did say that some of them are also character specific, which I thought was quite cool. I didn't know that. Um, so that could be kind of fun, right? Maybe there are some that are just really insane for certain for certain characters. But some of the effects too, like you can give taunt to an ally. You can what was what I had here? You can give concealed to an ally, right? So if it's a glass cannon, like say Blade, and since he's in this team here, if Blade is in danger and low health, which he is on screen right now, right above Marvel there, you could give him concealed, and all of a sudden the enemies wouldn't be able to hit him for that turn. So it's interesting to. I was happy to see the interface because I haven't seen that yet. But what I found interesting about that point was that there are character-specific combat items. So I'm curious to see what that looks like. Now, I'm assuming that not every combat item is a freak asked, and that may not be true, but I find it odd that they would specifically write free on some of them, because why wouldn't that just be a base feature, right? So I think some of the combat items might cost a card play, right? Um, so yeah, pretty much that was the stream. I'll link the VOD down below. It may not last forever, but if you want to watch the whole thing, you're more than welcome to. I'll also link my tier list video, which is strictly just my my thoughts, discussions, and impressions on the power level of characters. Um, as of right now, no changes to the list for me. And yeah, I'll see you guys in the next one. If you have any video ideas you want me to do, pop it in the comments, and I'll definitely tackle that. Have a good one.